going to work?
I think we didn't have a happy marriage. It wasn't a happy marriage. We had different views on things, on many things. But I decided I would go along with what she wanted because that was what was best for the children.
Amazing. All right, Chris, well, you're a better man than me, Gungadin. 0345 6060973 is the number to ring. After the news, I'll try and bring as much information about the M20 as I can, but it's really, really...
In a quarter of a mile, at Wagoners roundabout, take the second exit onto the Parkway, A312.
Why is it all happening on the M20? Also after the news, we'll speak to somebody who knows Christine McGuinness and can tell us something about her. It is 6:30. The headlines are read by Simon Morgan.
The UN's health agency has declared the monkeypox outbreak as a global emergency. The virus has been found in more than 70 countries. There are still long delays for passengers wanting to cross the channel at Dover. The UK and France are continuing to argue over who is to blame for the gridlock. And Liz Truss has brushed aside suggestions that she's been dishonest about the cost of tax cuts. She said she would reduce national insurance and corporation tax if she becomes Prime Minister, which, according to her leadership rival Rishi Sunak, could produce more inflation. LBC weather, scattered showers for this evening for many areas of the UK, dry across the southeast and staying mild, with a low of 14 in the north and 17 in the south. Tomorrow will be unsettled for many parts of the...
Exit the roundabout onto the Parkway.
South Wales and the northwest.
Continue on the Parkway for 1 mile.
Highs of 30.
This is LBC.
If you've lost £3,000 or more in a scam or fraud, then tell CEL. CELsolicitors.co.uk specialise in confidential, no-win, no-fee fraud and scam recovery. Whether you were pressured by someone posing as a bank, HMRC, or even the police, if you have been scammed, don't let them get away with it. Let us help you try to get your money back. We listen, we care, we win.
EE's full fiber is here. New broadband that can handle anything. And whatever you think that means, times it by a zillion and dip it in chocolate. Because this broadband connects 100 devices in your home. This is broadband that can handle anything. This is EE full fiber, powered by BT.
18.3% UK availability. Check coverage at ee.co.uk.
At Kia, we believe it's time to take the lead and drive electric. The all-new, fully electric Kia Niro EV is here, and better than before. With up to a 285-mile range, it goes further. With a distinctive new design, it looks better. And the all-new Kia Niro is also available as hybrid and plug-in hybrid. Take the lead, drive electric. Search Kia Niro. Kia. Movement that inspires. Range based on test conditions and may vary.
We constantly bombarded by messages from all angles, here and far. Switching attention between smartphones and a billion distractions, it can be difficult to stay focused. Zeiss Smart Life lenses are designed to help your eyes better manage a world vying for attention from every angle, improving your field of vision so you can seamlessly shift your point of focus. In a digital world, isn't it time you saw the bigger picture? Zeiss Smart Life lenses, available at Boots Opticians.
At Pets in a Pickle, we keep things simple, so you can get a quicker quote at our best price, which is why you won't find us on price comparison sites. Go to petsinnapickle.co.uk.
Ian Payne on LBC. Call 0345 6060 973.
Yes, it's 27 minutes to 7 o'clock. I've just seen them. If you're a sports fan, this is an amazing statistic. A batsman scored 410 not out. This was a Glamorgan batsman called Sam Northeast against Leicestershire, but his captain decided they'd declare, so he couldn't get near Brian Lara's record of 501 not out. But my producer says no one's interested in cricket, so I should shut up. 0345 6060 973 is the number to ring. If you want to text, it's 84850. If you want to tweet, it's at LBC. Still taking any information whatsoever about this humongous queue, dangerously long waiting times on the M20. It doesn't sound like anyone's moving. I thought it was an accident. Someone said it's not an accident. There was an accident yesterday, so I'm completely confused. No idea. We're also talking about the news that has been announced today that celebrity couple Paddy and Christine McGuinness have agreed to separate, but they've agreed to separate but still live in the same house for the sake of their 3 autistic children. Can this ever work, staying together? 03456060973 is the number to ring. Lisa is in Ealing. What's your view on this, Lisa?
I think it's quite different from other parents who have divorced and have just stayed together with the kids. But when there are children involved with special needs, then it can kind of it's okay because both parents are committed to those children. So I think it's going to work. The only thing is in the future, if he's going to get married or have somebody, how is that going to work? Because with my case, it's quite different.
What happened with you, Lisa?
I've got two children, both of them have autism, and I was also diagnosed with autism.
In 200 yards, at Cranford Parkway interchange, take the second exit onto the M4 slip road to Heathrow Airport, M25.
Why I didn't have any friends. So it took toll on my partner, and he literally became depressed when the kids were diagnosed, and I think more when I was diagnosed, because he could now think, oh, she didn't want to be around my friends, she's not socializing and things like that, and so he wasn't happy. And then we divorced, but we agreed he will be staying. Then he found somebody else. Then she said she didn't want the kids there and she didn't want him to live with us. So he would only come when I go on holiday, and he would stay with the kids. And then even that became restricted because she just felt that she also needed, and she actually told me, I also need my husband. So I ended up raising my kids on my own. I think with him, he's really hurting because his daughter, she's recently diagnosed, and I think that really was a big shock for him, because before he used to tell his little daughter, Mummy and your brother they are not well in the head. And then when he used to
exit the roundabout onto the slip road.
And
In a quarter of a mile, merge onto M4.
my little daughter was muscular, became depressed, and he kind of kept away from the kids.
How old were your kids when you split up?
My daughter was 2.5 and my son was about 4 years.
Right,
Yeah.
and how old are they now?
16 and 14.
Okay, and what do they say to you now about how they felt when you and their dad split up?
It was very hard on the boy
Was it?
because he could not understand why that.
Continue on M4 for 3 miles.
He could not understand a lot of things, you know, the affection, and sometimes when I needed him to look after, because it's so demanding. Sometimes I tell my friends, it's so easy to raise children with Down syndrome and physical disability than children with autism and ADHD. And so he took it very hard because he, you know, and also it took toll on me because it's frustrating. It's full-time 24/7. You cannot switch off. And so parents, especially with autism and with children with autism, we are so dedicated to our children in our home.
Of course.
Yeah.
What kind of arrangement did you sort out with your husband as to when he could see the kids then, or how did that work?
After he moved in with the other his partner, so he would come and take them over the weekend, but then also became very challenging. He would call me and he would ask me, what do I do? He's having a meltdown, what, you know, and I would explain to him, oh, he's not sleeping. And I think it took toll on him and it took toll on the partner as well.
Right.
To a point they also had, you know, she was like, I will leave you if you don't let go of me.
Ugh.
And so he had to do that, and he's quite professional. To a point, he was told there was treatment for autism. Somebody in America, £40,000, and he was ready to pay that. And I was like, no, treatment for autism. You just need to understand them, and he just chose to walk away. And kind of, I was very bitter at the beginning. I was very hurt, but then afterwards I realized it is very difficult. You know, only the parents with children with autism, and especially parents who have autism, understand more because we think alike and we know the triggers and we can work. And I was also surprised. I was not surprised when Christina said that it will take another 3 years for her to go on holiday. I've not been on holiday since 2016 because we never switch off.
No, absolutely. Well, well done in bringing the kids up, and still, obviously, still a way to go as well. Thank you, Lisa. Let's go to Dylan, who bizarrely is in Dover.
In half a mile, keep right to stay on M4.
Thankfully not, no.
I know, we're trying to get away from it.
Oh, yeah.
So tell me about your marriage and what happened.
Well, I just wanted to say that I don't agree that.
Keep right to stay on M4.
In general, I don't think that parents should stay together for the kids. Reason being, I am one of those kids. I'm 40 years old now.
All right, go on.
I'm on my second marriage now, and it's hard work because I don't know what a healthy relationship looks like. Because my parents stayed together, they are still together, and I'm really sure I would love them more if they were separated.
Really?
The arguments, the fighting, just that even a level of. Even when they are not fighting, it's not that love that you would expect from a mother and father to show, So that just feeding into the children. What does that say? I mean, I battle to have a healthy relationship with, when we say partners, friends, work colleagues. I mean, maybe I'm just.
Are you married now, or do you have a relationship now? Do you have children?
No, I am married now. A wonderful wife. She sits next to me right now.
Great.
Yeah, she's shaking her head.
Shaking her head. Brilliant. That's always a sign of a good relationship, I think. Go on.
We'll see.
Yeah.
But yes, I just wanted to especially for the caller previously who was saying that. I must have missed a lot of it, but he was saying the gist of kids nowadays are just looking after themselves, and when you have a child, you owe it to them to stay together.
Yes.
I think that's the
This is, you've basically you've voiced my feelings, and I know that most of the people we've had on so far have said that staying together for the sake of the kids is the most important thing. But to me, if there's a tension in a marriage, kids pick up on that very, very quickly.
In half a mile, keep right to stay on M4.
How long have your parents? They're still together now.
They are still together now.
Okay.
It's crazy.
When did you first?
They hate each other. They resent each other tremendously. They are in a different country. They're in South Africa.
And they live together. They're married. The kids are grown up. They hate each other.
Keep right to stay on M4.
Unfortunately, they are now in a situation where it's financially not viable for them to leave. But unfortunately, and that's the thing.
Wow.
The children now, me and the brothers, are actually having to help support and making arrangements so that they can move
So was
out.
this one of those? Was one of these sort of, sorry to pry on your life, but was their relationship when you were growing up? Was it one of sort of simmering tension, or did it actually break out into, if not violence, then
Oh no, thankfully not violence. Thankfully not. But it was simmering. I'm 40 years old, so my parents are in the mid 60s. Olden day, more of the old conservatives in South Africa, especially where my mother was not allowed out the house. She wasn't allowed to have a lot of friends. It's just, especially that was quite strange. But even while they were together, there was just, there was a lot of platonic friendship almost, which is lovely.
Yes.
But not a lot of love.
No. Okay. Well, it's very interesting. You should give us that side of things, Dylan, about marriages. I know people because there's certainly I think my parents were maybe the last kind of generation in their 80s now who would never get divorced because, you know, and if you did lose your partner, that would be it. You'd never meet anyone else. You know, the idea of having two serious relationships in your life was anathema to them. I think that's changed now. But I do think, you know, that the way that we live now, people sometimes, you know, they should split up because it's fairer on children and it's fairer on family life if you do. And I think Dylan's point was exactly that. By the way, if you're still queuing, there are still queues getting to Dover. There's this horrendous queue on the M20 as well. Again, I'm trying to bring you up to date with as much information as I can. Travellers who are trying to get to France are still facing hours of delay, both gridlock near Dover and the Euro terminal in Folkestone, which we've spoken about a lot in the last 2 hours.
In 2 miles, at junction 6, take the A355 exit to Slough Central.
No concern to someone who's stuck on the M20 and has been, according to some of our listeners, for 8, 9, 10 hours and moved less than a mile. If you're one of those people, I'd love to hear from you. How bad is it? What's going on? And also, if you've got any information as to why it's gridlock on the M20, I'd like to. It can't just be because people are trying to get on the Euro tunnel, can it? It's 6:45.
Coming up at 7 on LBC, Natasha Devon.
We now know we're getting more Johnsonian policies from a continuity Prime Minister. What does this mean for the future of British politics?
Natasha Devon on LBC.
I'm a research scientist looking for the next green solution.
I'm Dia, and I'm doing my bit for the environment from my back garden. I opted for an air source heat pump to provide cleaner heating, and you can too. And with a government grant, you could save £5,000 on installation.
E.ON, taking care of efficiently heated homes, taking action for climate. Visit eonenergy.com to find out more. Boiler upgrade scheme for homeowners, energy efficiency eligibility criteria, regional requirements and T's and C's apply.
At Vodafone, get half price airtime for the rest of the year with the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra 5G. Now just £43 per month for the first 6 months, plus £49 up front, and all with unlimited 5G data. But hurry, offer ends 9th of August. Go online or in store. Vodafone.
Then £56 per month, subject to CPI plus 3.9% annual increase, device and airtime plans, credit check, eligibility, coverage and terms. See Vodafone.co.uk. Credit by Vodafone.
In a quarter of a mile, at junction 6, take the A355 exit to Slough Central.
Super smart sensors.
Here to keep your home safe. I look after your entryways.
Systems start from under £200. You can set us up yourself.
Doors, windows.
And from just $15.99 a month, you can get professional monitoring from a...
Exit at junction 6.
Cat flaps too.
Head to simplysafe.co.uk to see our latest offers. And let our family look out for yours. T's and C's apply.
In a quarter of a mile, at the roundabout, take the 3rd exit onto Tons Lane A355.
Fully electric Kia Niro EV is here, and better than before. With up to a 285-mile range, it goes further. With a distinctive new design, it looks better. And the all-new Kia Niro is also available as hybrid and plug-in hybrid. Take the lead, drive electric. Search Kia Niro. Kia. Movement that inspires. Range based on test conditions and may vary.
I knight you, Sir William Wenzel of Buckinghamshire. Ow! Brilliant. Who's next?
Not me. Or me. I don't think I want to be knighted anymore.
Who's next?
Okay, as it's you, sire.
Need glasses, but don't want them to cost an arm and a leg? Get a complete pair from just £19 at Specsavers. Book an eye test online. You know you should. Include standard single vision lenses only. Ask in store for details.
This is LBC with Ian Payne.
It is 8 minutes to 7. Asking the question.
Exit the roundabout onto Tons Lane.
Kids ever workable? Ian says either. Staying together for the children's sake is lying to them, lying to relatives and friends, but worst of all, you're lying to yourself. Jacqueline's in Scotland. The reason we're doing this is because Paddy McGuinness and his wife Christina confirmed that they have separated, but they're going to stay together, living in the same house with the 3 children because of their autism. But
in a quarter of a mile, slight left towards Sippenham Lane.
Sort of stability. I don't know. Wouldn't have worked with us. It can work, says Jacqueline in Scotland. My husband and I split up after I had an affair. The affair ended, but we both knew we couldn't be the couple we once were, and that's the point. Once trust is gone. Our house had a huge mortgage at the time, and we simply couldn't afford to split up. We agreed to stay in the house and bring up our boys. They're now 24 years old, and our house is paid, so we could move on. But we're still here. We get on well, but we stay in separate rooms. Eat in a family, share chores, but that's it. I know it sounds crazy.
Slight left towards Sippenham Lane.
Jacqueline, with that arrangement, deep down, really, are you? I'm afraid that when people split up, they have to sell the house.
Continue for 1.5 miles.
You just never want to do. You have to, and you have to try and work out who needs what to get something that will be able to. Because I basically gave my wife the house and I kept my pension. It was as simple as that. It was a divvy up, and the kids were able to, and she got the money, most of the money from the house, so that our children, who were teenagers, but will always have somewhere to stay. And I think that's exactly how it should be when I get my pokey flat. Well, it's a nice flat actually. Right, let's go to Dave. He's in Cambridgeshire. Well, what's your view? Can people who split up live together? Dave?
No, Ian, without a doubt they can't.
No.
I'm an old dog. I married in 65.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in a loveless marriage for 29 years.
Oh, dear.
And I had 4 lovely kids, 3 girls and a boy. And as soon as my youngest, my son, went to university, I applied for divorce, because there's nothing worse than being in a loveless marriage. Your kids are so important in those days. You gave all to your kids, you stayed there. And, I wrecked my life because of it.
How long into the marriage did you realise it was loveless?
6 months.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
On both sides, or was one more in love with the other?
I applied for a divorce after 6 months, and I went back to stay with my mum and dad, and I went on the weekend, and on the Monday my mum said to me, "No, you've got a baby on the way, you've got to go back, that's your responsibility." And I went back, and I worked hard all my life, and I had an awful lot of money. I worked hard, you only get out what you put in, and I was proud of it, and I brought my kids up, and I was the one that took my kids everywhere. I'd done everything with them, and I enjoyed the time, and they enjoyed the time as well. But at the end of the day, I'm going to be truthful with you, I had an affair in the 70s with a lady that I fell so much in love with, and she was with me, but she had 2 children, 2 boys, and I had 4, as I've just explained to you, and I couldn't leave my kids for the sake that they would have wound up in care. And I personally...
Hold on a minute, you couldn't leave your wife and live with the person that you're in love with, because you'd lose your kids?
I would lose my kids.
Why would you have lost your kids?
Sorry?
Why would you have lost your kids? They still have their mother. Because what?
Because she was a loveless person.
Right, so they couldn't live with her?
Whenever my kids in their life had an accident or wanted to come to someone to cry to, they came to me.
Right, so you're saying that they couldn't have lived with your wife or their mother?
No.
Right.
No, without a doubt.
And there's no way they could have all lived with you if you went to live with this other lady, no?
Well, no, I wouldn't do that, because I'd be wrecking two people's lives. I wouldn't do that. I mean, and I regret to this day that this lady Carol that I was madly in love with, we had so much in common that we couldn't do that, because I wasn't at home.
But now that, how old are your kids now then, Dave?
My youngest one is 48.
Right, okay, so let's say they're grown up now. Let's assume we agree that they're all adults now. Could you you haven't lived with this other lady since then?
I've not seen her. It was very, 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 very heartbreaking when I split up with her, because I said that I can't do that to you, and I can't do that to me, because my children will wind up in care, and I wouldn't do that to my kids.
Well, again, I'm full of admiration for people like you, Dave, who just put the kids above everything else. It seems to me that...
In 300 yards, turn left onto Deal Avenue.
So it was slightly different, but I'm sure there are other people around who, when they think about this, if they were gonna... You have to think about your own happiness a bit, I think. I don't think you can totally give up self for the children, but, well,
Take the next left onto Deal Avenue, then your destination will be on the right.
Great text here, Patrick. Ian, I wonder how many divorces will result from being stuck in cars in Dover and Folkestone for 9 hours.